Hello, everyone. Lance McKell from Refocus on Happiness, presenting 5 steps to re-energize your life and take it to the next level within days, not weeks, not months or years, days. Here's my promise to you: 5 practical steps to reduce stress and burnout in days. Again, not weeks, months, or years. You are about to learn that there is indeed a clear, straightforward path to experiencing the most powerful emotional conditioning on the planet. Imagine you had the ability, the skill, or even more accurately put, the conditioning to feel powerful, joyful, and just plain wonderful every day, regardless of what comes your way. Remember, what makes this a true skill is consistency. And if you had that, you had the ability to resurrect your most powerful, joyful, loving self every single day, regardless of what challenges you're experiencing, wouldn't you agree? That would mean you're the winner in life. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So here's the truth. Anyone can feel great when things are going your way. The real question is, can you do it when things are not going your way? Look, I get it. One of the biggest reasons why people take a little time before they do for example, my full program is because very simply, they confuse times in their life where things are going their way. Anyone can be happy when they're in Disney World. Anyone can feel really joyful when things are going their way, or they're in Italy on vacation. But how about when you're not on vacation? How about when you're in the midst of relationship challenges, work challenges, business challenges? Can you still feel great then? Because here's the truth. If you can't do it then, you never had the skill in the first place. Because it does not matter what you know. It only matters what we can do. And if you cannot control your emotional states consistently, daily, then guess what? Sorry, but I'm just the messenger here. You effectively know zero. The 2 most valuable resources in your life for everything you want. I'm going to uncomplicate your life here. If you can control these 2 most valuable resources in life, this is game, set, match. Emotional states and energy. Let me repeat that again. Emotional states and energy. That is the crux, the foundation for everything you want. And who here can honestly say that in their life, every year just gets more and more enjoyable? Who here can remember the last time they had a rock star year, not just in finances, but a true feeling they were living the dream? And by the way, I do notice right now as I'm speaking to you guys, I did spell the word here wrong. So focus on the essence here, not on my grammar. So who here can remember the last time they had a rock star year, not just in finance, but in life, just the way they felt regardless, and that every year gets more and more enjoyable? If that has not been your life experience, you're going to want to pay close attention to today's call, okay? So I'm going to simplify your life and make it a lot more enjoyable, because isn't that what you want at the end of the day? As well as giving you more fuel to execute your great ideas and dreams. I mean, at the end of the day, even if your bank account is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but you feel like garbage, are you winning? I mean, you're kind of missing the whole point in life. The whole point in life is to enjoy it. But what 99.9% of you people have not learned is that's not a concept. That's a skill. That's a conditioning. There's a reason why some people are just always in a groove, always doing great, going with the flow and feeling great along the way. And some people, no matter how big their bank account becomes, or no matter how great things look on paper, they're just miserable. And I don't want that to be you. So in the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about how to simplify your entire life at the core by addressing those 2 most valuable skills: emotional states and energy. That's it. That's game, set, match. We're going to talk about using these 2 skills to completely reinvigorate and revamp your entire life, love, health, and wealth across the board, to make life a hell of a lot more enjoyable and to really say goodbye to stress and burnout. How to get your confidence back, how to stop self-sabotage, and again, how to reduce stress and get your health back on track, and how to get the energy to push forward towards your goals and dreams in an enjoyable way. So we're talking about those practical steps to re-energize your life, love, health, and wealth across the board, and take it to the next level within days. Again, really saying bye-bye to stress and burnout, again, within days. So a couple house rules here. First and foremost, feeling great has to become the priority. If you're not feeling great, no matter what your life looks like on paper, you're really missing the whole point. So you have to make feeling great the priority. You got to really want it. You got to be at the point: I've had it. This stops now. Not another day, not another hour. This changes now. You must be fully committed to your true one job. And make no mistake, you have one job in this life, and that's to feel awesome. Think about it. When you feel great, you speak great. When you feel great, you make different decisions. When you feel great, you become the kind of person people want to be and the kind of person people want to be around. When you feel great, all the other jobs become easier. So what's the real truth? You have a million jobs, or you got one. So indecisive people, they will not get results from this new way of thinking. You got to be clear what you want and why you want it. So does this sound like you? Has an emotional issue or burnout been weighing you down for months, years, or hell, even decades, and there seems to be no end in sight? Are you afraid that your life goals are just going to be in the gutter forever until you finally figure out how to move forward, feel good, and get your head straight? Make no mistake, your ability to move forward purposely and that's all conditioning. That's not a concept. So for a lot of you who are trying to YouTube your way to success, what we're talking about is not a concept. It's a skill. It's a conditioning. So if you think you're going to magically stumble upon a book that has all the answers, good luck with that. Because if you've been going on that search for months or even years, or perhaps even decades, what's the worst part about knowing you have no reason to believe that is going to solve itself in the year 2022? This is not a concept. Again, it's a skill, a conditioning. I take people to a different kind of weight room. You might just find out you had a muscle that you never knew you had before. And that muscle is incredibly enjoyable when you really know how to use it. So does it seem like there's been no end in sight to this emotional funk, aka burnout stress you've been living in? Here's the real problem. You haven't made the shifts. And what I mean by that is you haven't addressed the emotional core. I mean, I'll ask you a nice little question here. Can you think of a better day than today? Can you think of a better time than now to take a real stand for your happiness and prosperity? I mean, if not now, when? I think now sounds pretty good to me. This is the time. This is the place. Life comes down to a few key moments. It is the moment of decision you create, or in some cases, recreate your destiny. I think today sounds pretty good. I think today is time. How about you guys? So when you make this decision to make your one job feeling great, the job, you'll wake up feeling excited for the day. You'll stop getting the feeling of dread when you get a bill. Instead, love the fact that you have so much energy to make your financial and personal dreams inevitable. You'll be focused on enjoying how much money's coming in, not how much is going out. You'll finally start enjoying the fruits of your labor because you'll have that skill, that conditioning, and you'll stop looking at the details of your life or the quote unquote excuse to feel great. Again, it's a skill, a conditioning, not a concept. And you'll finally look forward to going out, meeting people, and making it happen, enjoying whatever comes your way. You'll have more energy, make great memories with your friends and family, instead of being tense and agitated the whole time. Think about all the stresses in your life. I mean, that sounds absolutely terrible. And yeah, you might have future challenges in your life, but you'll never again be paralyzed by fear or doubt. And you'll enjoy socializing, be more present with whomever you choose to spend more time with, instead of being distracted by all the things you got to do. So who am I? My name is Lance McKell, and since 2012, I've been the coaching and operations director for one of the most well-known dating science companies in the world. Now, of course, I've moved on to other things since then. Now I run Refocus on Happiness. I'm the creator and founder of that, which is an emotional conditioning program. At the end of the day, the reason why I moved away from the dating sciences world is because, again, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you can do. All that stuff is great, but if you can't control your emotions, how you can execute? If you can't control your emotions, you're not enjoying, you're kind of missing the whole point. So the reason why I do what I do now, the reason I'm so passionate about it is because what I do now, that emotional conditioning, that is what addresses the core. So on top of that, I've worked with thousands of men and women, helping them pick up the pieces and reinvigorate their lives financially, spiritually, and socially. And I specialize in life hacks and strategies for experiencing love, health, and wealth across the board, enjoying life rather than that conventional Band-Aid approach. You'd be amazed to know how much better you can feel in a true, consistent, repeatable way, even within 48 hours, if you have the right workout. And that's what I do. So we're going to talk about the 6 key shifts here. And there are 6 key shifts that you want to make to take control of those 2 most valuable resources in your life, energy and emotional states. Again, quick quiz here. What is game, set, match? Yes, when you can control your energy, emotional states, winner, winner, chicken dinner. So I'm going to walk you through all 6 of them, all 6 of those shifts on the session now, as well as give you practical tools that can change your life drastically starting today. So first, a little precursor to that here. Consciousness is awareness, and awareness is paying attention and noticing. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So question for you, where have you been placing your attention, energy for the last several weeks, months, years, or even decades? Pop quiz also, what emotion and thought do you think zaps your energy and drive more than any other emotion? Yeah, you got it. Fear and worry. So what does fear and worry due to your levels of stress. If you can't control that, doesn't matter what's going on with your bank account, that's not going to be too good for you. So, and also, what is the biggest symptom to let you know you're living in stress? Boom, rushing. That's right. So, do you really believe all the conventional wisdoms you've heard for the last 50 years, such as time heals all wounds? Do you really believe that's true? I have a fun question for you. Do you believe in a disorder called small muscle syndrome? If you better pay attention here, if you had never gone to the gym before and you never worked out your biceps and your biceps are small, would it really be fair to tell people, do you have a bicep problem or a bicep deficiency? That would be ridiculous. You would understand it's because you never went to the gym before. So maybe in this case, your emotional muscles are weak because you never went to a different kind of gym. Doesn't that make sense to you? So shift number one, happiness is a skill, not a fucking concept, a skill. Or even more accurately, happiness is a conditioning. Again, you guys will find out you had a muscle you never knew you had before. So here's the truth when it comes to happiness. Happiness is a skill, or even more accurately, it is conditioning, like a muscle. So the conventional wisdom that tells you you'll be happy when you accomplish your goals, that is total BS. Because the truth is, no matter what you're going on through right now, every day has the potential to be the best day of your life. And most people are oblivious to this power and hence are unable to free themselves from their emotional prison. And most of us are not taught to choose our thoughts and are completely unaware that we have the skills, the potentiality to make ourselves happy every day. You weren't taught this in school. And the vast majority of coaches out there, I mean, I wouldn't even say the vast majority, I'd say 99.999%, they don't teach us properly. They don't address the core. They give you meaningless cliches and platitudes without teaching the actual process. It's really great to speak all big, but can you do it? The next time you talk to your well-meaning coach, counselor, or therapist, ask them, great, you're telling me all these things here, but what is the step-by-step to do it? And can you give me a specific time frame where I'll accomplish it? Because here's the truth. If they can't do it, maybe it's possible they really don't know what they're doing and they're just giving you cliches and platitudes really amount to zero. So truth is, accomplishing goals are simply an excuse for you to feel an emotion that you can create anytime you want. You don't need to accomplish anything. You could feel great for the sake of feeling great, just like you could lift a lot of weight in the gym because you had clocked in your time previously. You've done your workouts. So truth is, you don't have to wait to accomplish your goals to create the feelings of joy and happiness. You can be wired that way and feel great simply for the sake of feeling great. So happiness is a skill. So what if you could learn a process that no matter what happened in your life, you'd be able to handle it? How much would that be worth to you to no longer be at the mercy of untrained emotions and paralyzed by fear or anger? And a lot of you guys might be like, whoa, is this really true? This guy's talking a big game here. But at my stage of the game here, Steve Martin has a great phrase. He says, be so good at what you do, people cannot ignore you. You guys are more than welcome to look at my YouTube channel, Lance McKell. And on there, I have literally dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of videos, including doctors, medical personnel, psychologists, people they've been completely redefined as far as their paradigm of how their mind works and how they can be trained and conditioned to literally go beyond the conventional wisdoms they've been taught for many, many years. I had a psychologist, for example, that even said, even just during our time, our 6 weeks, it has completely redefined the way she will teach psychology in the future. Okay, so you can be as skeptical as you want here, but again, feel free, even after this video training here, to go onto my YouTube channel. You can see it for yourself. So what if you could do this, though? What would that be worth to you in terms of time, enjoying every day? Would that be worth you in terms of money? When you feel great, you speak great. When you feel great, you make different decisions. And what would that be worth to you in terms of less pain? I mean, don't you want to enjoy your life? I mean, how many more days, weeks, months do you really want to let go without really enjoying your existence in this thing we call life? I mean, if you really want to keep doing it the way you've been doing it, I think you're kind of missing the whole point. And there was a movie from years ago, a very famous movie called Office Space, where basically the main character, Michael, told the psychologist in the beginning, he's like, every day is the worst day in his life. It's just his stress got worse and worse and worse. And that's, guys, a perfect example of someone who is completely unaware of the power of his brain. And, so what negative emotion have you been rehearsing those worst doomsday, scenarios? I mean, remember, if you don't use it, you lose it. But what happens if you use it? You grow it, you evolve it. So what do you think stress will cost you if you don't do something about this now, right? And what if, instead of you going down the path you've been going on, what if you had an emotional bulletproof vest where stress could just bounce off? Would you still fear those emotional bullets? And I want you to really think about the analogy I'm giving you here. If you really had a bulletproof vest in the classic sense, and someone shoots you, yeah, it still hurts. Yeah, you still get knocked on your butt. And again, I'm not encouraging you to try this experiment here. I'm just using this for the point of an analogy. But if you had that and you knew the worst that could happen from that bullet is getting knocked on your butt, yeah, you might not like the bullet, but would you fear it? What if you had that in a practical sense for your emotions? What if things just bounced right off? Can you imagine how much that would change things for you? And the truth is, that's a lot more practical to what you could actually experience if you had the right tool, the right skill, the right conditioning. So that emotional proof vest would be unquestionably the best investment you ever made, right? For love, for health, for wealth, for across the board. And here's the thing, it's not about being happy 100% of the time. I mean, the truth is, challenges and stress is what makes it possible for you to evolve. Something, a wise man once said, God gives us problems to sculpt our soul. But challenges don't have to be a pain. They can be actually really, really enjoyable if you know how to get past them. Solving problems can be an incredible source of joy and fulfillment when you solve them, right? But again, if you're not wired that way, well, problems can also be an incredible source of pain. But what if you could feel incredible 80% of the time, every day? What if you knew that every day, by the end of the day, you can always say, you know what? Pretty great day, especially considering. How do you think that would affect your communications with your friends, your family? How do you think that would impact your health and your wealth? And how much would that be worth to you, right? How much should it be worth to you to literally live like that every single day? Okay. Now, shift 2 here. Again, first one, happiness is skill. Shift 2, you got one job. I'm here to simplify your life. And that one job is to make yourself feel great. You might think you have a million jobs. You might think your job is to be a business owner, work in corporate America, the corporate world. You might think your job is to be a mom, a father. You might think you have a million jobs, but the truth is you have one. And when you really recognize at the end of the day, you have one real job, one main job, one core job, and all the other jobs are subsets, your life gets a hell of a lot easier. For example, you might be a mom, you might be a father, but when you feel like crap, are you really the best parent to them? Are you really loving? Are you really patient? Are you really paying attention? Are you really enjoying your time with them? Answer is no. But when you feel great, you're a better parent. Does that make sense to you? If you're a business owner and you're going through an emotional funk, are you really making the best business decisions right now? No. But when you feel great, you speak great, you make different decisions. So the truth is, feeling great, if you make that your number one job, all the other jobs get easier. In this life, you have one job. And when you address that job first, you'll find out your whole life will accelerate like a freaking rocket ship. You got one job in this life, and that is to make yourself happy so you can be your best self and operate the best level, make the best decisions, have the best conversations. Doesn't that make sense to you guys? Don't get distracted from that. When you make your one job the most important job, who benefits? Everybody. Winner, winner, chicken dinner across the board. Your kids benefit, your family benefits, your friends, your family, your job, your coworkers, your partner, everybody. Okay, now shift 3. Don't let your brain fall asleep at the wheel, right? Now, the conventional wisdom that time heals all wounds, that is complete BS. I have tons of medical people, doctors, medical directors, psychologists take my program, and they can come in there as skeptical as you want with all their conventional wisdoms. I have never had someone try to debate me when I'm done talking to them. The true reality is it's not that time heals all wounds. The time heals an untrained brain. Think about it. If you never I'll give it from a first person standpoint, guys. I'm in great shape. I work out, I lift weights, I do a lot of things, but I'm not conditioned to run a marathon. My muscles have not been trained and conditioned that way. If I try to run a marathon today, I would hurt myself really, really badly, and I wouldn't be able to walk or whatever for probably a week or two because I'm not trained that way. It might take time for my wounds to heal because I never did that preconditioning before that training. But what if I started training for a marathon? What if I had the right person leading the way? Well, maybe in 2 months I could run a marathon, but here's the real cool news for you guys. After I ran that marathon, maybe not the next day, but maybe 2 days later, I could run again because I'm conditioned that way. So I don't have to wait for my body to heal itself. I'm a well-oiled machine that has been trained for different types of work. you might just find out in this area, from the emotional conditioning perspective, you're just not trained that way. So it's not that time heals all wounds, it's that time heals an untrained brain. And I promise you, you guys have not been to the gym that I bring people to. So for most people, when they go through a challenge, they spend a significant amount of time in their head trying to figure out what went wrong, engaged in draining conversations that solve zero. Meanwhile, each day the brain just accepts a small smidge of the reality of their situation. They become numb to life. And so it's the illusion that took time to get over it. But the reality is it took their brain a long time to process all those draining conversations. So getting over a life challenge does not have to be a slow and painful process. If you guys go to my YouTube channel, I got zillions and zillions of people who'll tell you they're amazed how much better they are even in the first week. And we're talking about people who've been dealing with stuff for decades. You can train your brain to accelerate the process to get the lessons so you can finally get your life back on track. And yeah, I'll give you a couple of little analogies here just to really even hit this home even further here. Have you guys ever had an experience where someone cuts you off of the road and several hours later, you're still thinking about that stupid person who cut you off? That person's not in front of you anymore. If you're still in that emotional hamster wheel, that is a symptom of somebody who just lives their brain on autopilot. Why are you still thinking about that person? That happened hours ago. That person, you can even confront that person if you wanted to. Why are you still doing it? That's unfortunate because you're wired the wrong way for pain, for fear, for anger, for sadness. That's a great example of that. But when you're truly in control, you're not thinking about nonsense that happened hours or days, or I mean, how many of you guys are still rehearsing in your head situations from a relationship or business decision that happened years ago? Why are you doing that to yourself? Again, you might just find out you've been going to the wrong gym, training the wrong emotional muscles. So what if, but here's my question for you to just show you the difference here. What if 3 minutes before that guy cut you off in that situation, what if you'd won $10 million in the lottery? Do you think you'd still give a crap about that person cut you off? No, you'd feel so grateful, so appreciative, so like God showered blessings upon you. That'd be the last thing you'd be thinking about. That is an example of someone, the difference between someone who's truly in charge of their brain, truly in charge of the command center, versus someone who is living their whole life on autopilot. Now, what if you actually had a true conscious ability to control yourself so that when you had a challenge, you were able to just, literally snap your fingers and you're over it, like literally within minutes. So if you can relate the difference between this, the first situation, the second, you now understand the difference between being on autopilot versus someone who's truly the captain of the ship. So here's the truth. If you've taken months or even years to get over a breakup or some other life challenge, you are not in command of your ship. Your body is going on autopilot. Your brain is asleep. So how much time and money did you lose even this week alone obsessing, rehearsing negative thoughts and feelings? And how crappy did that feel, right? You don't have to live like that. So most people wake up immediately reacting to the needs of their outside world, okay? And they're just constantly from trigger to trigger to trigger. They're reacting to their boss, their friends, their family. They're just not enjoying themselves. Do you really want to keep living like that? Do you really want to keep living like that? Because when you live this way, putting your attention towards those outer things, you're mismanaging energy, But I'll give you a little glimpse of what's in the future here. Energy that was formerly wasted, when it's reallocated, now you have all this extra energy and time to enjoy yourself and make your dreams come true. But when you're mismanaging energy and energy is all tied up in negative emotions, what energy is left to recreate a new destiny? What energy is left for creativity? Nothing. So how much money did you waste numbing yourself with food, alcohol, bottle service, cigarettes, drugs of any kind, while immersed in the emotions of the past? Do you really want to keep living that way? So getting out of autopilot is easy, but it does take discipline. Again, you got one job in this life. That's to feel great. So when would be a better time than now to slow down and enjoy this moment even more? When would be a better time than now to enjoy my life, moment by moment, regardless of what I do? I think now sounds pretty good. How about you guys? Now, so the truth is we really do live in the matrix of emotions, and you do have a choice. You can either let the emotional prison, the emotions of stress run you, or you can run it. That's up to you. But again, you don't go to the gym. Don't expect to lift that really heavy emotional weight. It's just not going to happen. You can either let the body be the master, live on autopilot, oblivious to your power, or you can retake of your mind and start bending and breaking the rules of what's possible. I mean, I think the latter sounds better than the former. So quick recap, being happy is a skill. Your ability to bounce back from anything, and I do mean anything, can be biologically conditioned, just like you condition a muscle to recover rapidly after physical exertion. Again, if you go to my YouTube channel, tons of doctors, medical people, they'll tell you this is absolutely the case. At the end of the day, neuroplasticity is not an opinion. It is a scientifically based science that proves to you what I'm telling you is absolutely possible. But the difference is this: do you want to live your life where this is just a concept, or would you actually like to work with somebody who actually knows how to deliver that concept in a step-by-step, applicable, repeatable way that you can actually enjoy? I think the latter sounds pretty good, because you got one job, and don't let your brain fall asleep at the wheel, right? That's really not the way to live. So that's our quick little recap here. And question: what kind of person is usually considered more attractive? Someone who's usually happy, in a good mood, or someone who's usually grumpy, sad, stuck, talking about the past? Who would you rather spend your time with? Isn't it obvious why, when you do this, not just does it feel better, you become more attractive? When you feel great, you radiate. You become the kind of person people want to be, and the kind of person people want to be around. Who would you rather be? So next, let's talk about the 3 pillars here, or the final 3 shifts here. Pillar 1, you must learn the skill to inspire yourself every day, regardless of what happens. Creating inspired energy is a skill. It's not a concept. So pop quiz. What kind of person is usually considered more attractive? Someone who's inspired, energized, and making it happen? Or someone who's low energy and spends most of their free time chilling? Who would you rather be around? So the conventional wisdom that you hope for inspiring moments, that is complete and utter BS. Question: have you ever found yourself exhausted, about ready to go to sleep, and then out of nowhere, you have a thought that truly inspires you? Then out of seemingly nowhere, energy rushes through your body, and you magically have the inspiration to work all night long on your idea. Has this ever happened to you? Of course it has. But this magical moment doesn't have to be something that just is this elusive thing that happens from time to time. What if you create this inspiration on command every day, regardless of what was happening in your world? What if you became skilled on how to inspire yourself? Can you imagine how that would change things for you? The kind of people to want to be around you, the kind of ideas you could actually manifest and make reality. Imagine you learned a strategy to make $1 million in 7 days, but it would require you to only sleep 3 hours a night. But imagine you knew this strategy would work. You knew without a doubt, like, oh my God, this is going to work. Imagine Warren Buffett, for example, told you this strategy. And Warren Buffett knows a thing or two when it comes to making money. If you knew it was going to work, guess who would have the energy, the quote, motivation to only sleep 3 hours a night? You would find that motivation. Motivation is the product of knowing you have the right strategy. But the real question is, you guys listening here who are dealing with stress and living emotional Groundhog Day, what's the worst part about knowing that you don't have the right strategy? Something to think about. So pillar 2, shift number 5, how you communicate with yourself is a skill you must master if you want to master life. Listen very carefully here. If you are not strong on the inside, you cannot be strong on the outside. A lot of people talk about enforcing boundaries. How the hell are you going to force something when you feel fearful, you feel sad, you feel lack? How are you going to enforce a boundary when you feel like crap? That'd be like you trying to negotiate for a higher salary when you barely even feel like you're worthy of the salary that was just being offered to you. That will not work out. If you are not strong on the inside, you cannot be strong on the outside. How you communicate with yourself is a skill you must master if you want to master life. As a matter of fact, this might be one of the most important skills you will ever master. And if you don't got that, that's not good for you. So what word is more likely to empower you, and which word is more likely to disempower you? Struggles or challenges? Which one insinuates that they can be overcome, and which one insinuates, this ain't good? I think I'd rather have a challenge any day of the week. How about you guys? Challenge can be overcome. So the conventional wisdom telling you need to work on your communication skills with other people will not solve the real underlying problem. You first need to solve your communication skills with yourself. Your communication with yourself is the most important communication skill you will ever learn, period. I don't care what your friendly neighborhood counselor or therapist told you. This is where it begins. If you want to be strong on the outside, you first need to be strong on the inside. How you communicate yourself is the real determining factor for how well you communicate with others. Once again, you need to start thinking of I haven't said this before to you guys here, but you guys need to start thinking of yourself as a pro athlete in the sport of life. Pro athletes do not go to local tennis pro if they want to come home with a Wimbledon trophy. Doesn't that make sense to you? So your conventional wisdoms you need to work on, your communication skill with other people will not solve the underlying issue in your life. So Does your life demonstrate a true belief in yourself? Do you invest in yourself? Because becoming a successful risk taker is, make no mistake, a very attractive quality. Do your actions demonstrate yourself as someone who is truly strong on the inside? Doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you do. Understand, it matters what you do, not what you say, what you do. When was the last time you did something that you instantly regretted? Isn't it true when that happened, the emotions got the better of you? You don't want that to happen. You have to control your inside. You have to control your emotional states. When you feel great on the inside, that is when you're actually able to execute on the outside. Does that make sense to you? And what actions have you taken recently that resulted from emotional weakness? Again, the last time you were weak on the inside, does it make sense that's when you were weak on the outside? So for how long have you been experiencing communication issues with yourself due to fear, insecurity, anger, sadness? You really want to keep going down that route? You really want to keep talking things to death? When would be a good time to address this issue? When would be a good time to address this issue? I think now sounds pretty good to me. So what is most likely the reason for self-sabotage in relationships? Weak communication with yourself or incomplete astrological signs, right? And what type of person is usually considered most attractive? Someone who's strong on the inside or someone whose actions do not honor their self-worth? If you've been living your life for a long time where you keep doing weak actions over and over again, why are you so surprised when people don't fully appreciate and treasure you? They're not looking at what you're saying. They're looking at what you're doing. And if your actions are not in line with someone who truly values themselves, why are you so surprised when certain people in your life, whether it's in love, health, or wealth, are not valuing you at the level you deserve? You're teaching people with your actions how they can treat you. So last one here, protect your energy from energy stealers, no matter how guilty they try to make you feel. Because this is my quote here, anything that distracts you dilutes you. Again, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So the conventional wisdom that tells you take care of others before taking care of yourself is complete bullshit BS. It is also destroying your health, and it's taking away from your one job. What's your one job, guys? Make yourself feel great. When you feel great, all your other jobs become easier. And you got to defend this from anyone who tries to suck energy from you, even if they mean well. So how much time and money are you losing by wasting time explaining yourself to others? You really want to keep doing that? Energy is life. If you have no energy, you are dead to create your dreams. So here comes the main little crescendo here. You guys all now have a much better way of doing things here. Most people are running east of their sunset. I'm here to help you guys run west. So now you have a much, much better way to go about things. You understand why all the other ways you've been trying in your past life, the last several months, years, or even decades have not been working. But now, how do we roll it up into one clear, step-by-step, repeatable daily process that'll rock your world even the first 72 hours? By applying the shifts, and demystifying the mystical into a practical step-by-step repeatable process, the formula is actually pretty simple, but to apply it takes a different kind of guidance and support. It takes a different kind of gym and a different kind of personal trainer, AKA me. Again, if you want to become a professional tennis player, if you think you can YouTube your way there, that's not going to work out so well. Even if you got your local tennis coach, look, that local tennis coach, you're paying $20 an hour. They're not going to get you to Wimbledon. If they could, they wouldn't be there and be available to you for $20 an hour. You got to work with your own personal Andre Agassi. You want a Harvard life, go to Harvard. So if you want that very specific step-by-step process, you need the person, the expert who commits to a specific time frame to get you what you're looking for, because they really do know what they're doing. So to apply this in a practical way, yes, absolutely, you need expert guidance and support. And fortunately for you guys, that is exactly what I do. I take people to a different kind of gym because I am absolutely a different kind of personal trainer. I do for people's emotional muscles like a classic personal trainer does for people's physical muscles. It does take a trained expert to find that internal communication gaps and fill the void. And that's what I do better than anyone on planet Earth. So if you've been experiencing patterns of self-sabotaging behavior for years, do not try to do this alone. You know the definition of insanity, right? Keep trying to do the same thing the same exact way and think you're gonna get a different result. You can't see yourself the way the world sees you. You cannot read the ingredient list when you're inside your own jar. Do not think for a second all of a sudden you're gonna figure this out by yourself. You need an expert, not a mentor, an expert who's adept at finding the internal conflicts and applying corrective action. And let's be clear what an expert is. An expert is only somebody who can commit to a very specific graduation date and assure you there is no more advanced class. Why would someone need to offer you an advanced course if their course is really that good, right? So you need to have that specific step-by-step strategy because, as I say, when you understand the why, the how gets a lot easier. People don't do what I teach them because it's easy. They do it because they understand it's going to get them to where they want to go. So invest in mentoring. A mentor can be a one-stop shop and save you years of training and tens of thousands of dollars. A great mentor has the knowledge to teach numerous courses from a true position of authority, and they can focus specifically on what you need for your specific situation and your specific challenges. Seminars are just a one-size-fits-all approach. They're very expensive, they're time-consuming, and usually end up by trying to sell you a step two. One great expert, even more accurately than mentor, one great expert is worth, I dare say, 10,000 seminars. Just by coming to this webinar alone, I know you have a ton of new ideas, and I know you're excited for the new future because knowledge is the precursor to experience. But again, do you have that specific step-by-step? If you want that, you're going to want to do the next piece here, which we're going to talk about in just a couple minutes here. Because so imagine what I could do for you if I'm working directly with you, giving you specific guidance, giving you specific course correction, fixing the grip on your racket, so to speak, if you appreciate my analogy. You need that person if you want to get your hand raised and get to the winner's circle. Simple. I mean, the Tony Robbins, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett's world, they don't try and do it by themselves. Why would you do that? So reading books and watching videos will never, 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 never get you to true full potential. The top performers in the world work directly with other top performers and coaches. Duh, they work with their own Andre Agassi. So books and videos do not offer a feedback mechanism. For you people out there trying to YouTube your way to success, that is a flawed premise. That book and video is not going to talk back to you. It's not going to tell you what you're doing wrong. And I don't care how smart you are. You're not going to get the full interpretation of the expert from your own interpretation. You need that person to confirm for you you really understand it at the level, the intention they had for you. And top athletes don't read or watch their way to Wimbledon or the NBA finals. Only a feedback mechanism from a true expert can tell you if you're actually doing it right. Okay? You know, that true expert and true one-stop shop and save you years, if not decades, and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. The best experts in the world have already taken all the course you need and give it to you, deliver to you in a nice rolled up step-by-step repeatable process and allow you to have an experience even in the first few days if they're really that good. And again, motivation is a product of knowing you have the right strategy. So again, a stern warning on why you would never, ever, 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 ever try to do this by yourself. Being yourself is not good enough. You want to be your best self. But how would you be your best self without the best tools? And how would you learn the best tools without the best expert, the best teacher guiding the way? Think about it. One of my classic examples is sales. You could read how to do a sales pitch. You could read how to do objection handlers when dealing with clients. But how would you know how to actually employ those sales techniques and objection handlers unless you have a true coach guiding you, leading you, teaching you how to do it the proper way to get the outcomes, which is more sales and more money? How would you do that? I mean, even if you could do it by yourself over 10, 20 years, if you really love yourself, you don't try to do it by yourself. Let me repeat that. If you really love yourself, you don't try and do it by yourself. Why would you even take the chance of wasting years or decades when someone like myself, yours truly, can make your life easier in the first week alone? That would be insane. And also think about one of the biggest sources of anxiety comes from not knowing what to do again if you're back in the same situation. And again, you can't read your ingredient list when you're inside the jar, your own ingredient jar, your own jar. You can't do it. It's just not going to work out so well. You don't know what you don't know. So the only real way to love yourself is to invest in yourself. You're teaching people how to treat you. And if you want a Harvard level life with Harvard level opportunities, sorry, it is what it is. Go to freaking Harvard. It is what it is. So today I promised why the advice you've been given is not working. I busted a ton of conventional wisdoms that I know, frankly, are not serving you. I know in your heart and soul what I'm telling you is correct. If you really want to, go see your sunset, run west, not to the east. Don't try and do it in the conventional wisdom ways you've been taught. It's not working, but you understand why this way is going to. And you need to start thinking of yourself as a professional athlete in the sport of life. Professional athletes, such as tennis players, don't go to the local tennis club for advice on how to beat Roger Federer or Serena Williams. They get their own Andre Agassi. And lastly, I introduce you to practical tools via the 6 shifts that can energize you daily on command, even if right now you're in emotional Groundhog Day. You don't have to be there. You could get out a lot quicker than you believe here, contrary to your local counselor. So here's what you need to win. You need to learn the skills to make yourself happy. You need to know what your one job is. Don't get confused by anyone here. Don't let people guilt you or shame you into taking care of things that are not your one job. When you take care of your one job first, you can help people at a different level. Don't let your brain fall asleep at the wheel, and use those 3 pillars. Okay. You must learn those skills to inspire yourself every day, regardless of what happens. You must learn how to communicate with yourself. That is a skill you must master if you want to master life. If you continue to be weak on the inside, you will continue to be weak on the outside. It is what it is. And you must protect your energy from energy stealers, no matter how guilty they try to make you feel. So now you absolutely have a choice. If you keep doing things that we've been doing, you keep trying to YouTube your way to success, you watch another zillion webinars, then go suffer. That's up to you. I mean, you're making your life a lot harder than it has to be. Again, the Tony Robbins, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett's of the world, they don't try to do it by themselves. So you can keep doing what you've been doing here. You can keep running east for your sunset, or you say, you know what? I know there's a much better way. It's very clear. There's a much more obvious direction, and I'm going to become the master. No more living on autopilot, oblivious to my power. I'm going to retake control of my mind and start bending and breaking the rules of what's possible. That is your option. And again, I encourage you to want to do the latter and not the former. So here's how I can help. I've set aside some time next 72 hours to speak to you personally. How I can help you apply these practices in your life starting today in a consistent, repeatable way every day. Not something that's kind of hit or miss. Every day. In the first 48 hours alone, you'll know why this way is going to work. Whatever your biggest challenges are, I've seen it. I know how to overcome it. You have human muscles, and you also have a human brain. Your human brain, your human muscles will operate within the confines of human biology if you have the right processes. So on this session, I will work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan to get out of emotional Groundhog Day and take back control of your life spiritually, financially, socially, and every possible way across the board. Love, health, and wealth. The cost is free, but I want to be clear, this is not a freebie. Obviously, there's a next step. You watch these videos I have on YouTube, for example, no one gets that kind of outcome from a 10-minute conversation with me. Happy to have a conversation with you as long as you're open to the next step. The next step is absolutely an investment. Let's just be clear with each other here. So yeah, it's free, but it's not a freebie. The idea is you're serious about this and you understand you are open to the next step and you're really just trying to see, which I'll make it beyond obvious for you. I'd be the top 3 best friends you never knew you had. So yeah, as long as you come on to that with a sincere openness and open-mindedness to take a next step, fantastic. Let's have that call. And who this is for anyone who's tired of living the emotions of anger, fear without an insight. People who are tired of burnout, stress. You really don't have to live that way. And people who really want to live in a state of joy, feeling great for the sake of feeling great. What a great outcome that would be. And again, that is a true skill conditioning that is available to anyone, just like getting big muscles. In this case, we get some great, really powerful, joyful, emotional muscles. If you really want to put an end to emotional Groundhog Day, you and I need to have this conversation. This is for anyone who realizes how much this has been costing them financially, spiritually, and socially. This is for anyone who's just not enjoying their life, period. This is for anyone who's tired of living in a stressful state every day. This is for anyone who's willing to take decisive action now. And this is for anyone who's willing to show up and do the work. Okay. Then yeah, if you're really tired of blaming, making excuses, and ready to take ownership of your life, this is for you. And yeah, this is for anyone who's actually wants to work with someone who really knows what they're doing and can prove it. Again, a true expert is not hard to distinguish. A true expert would always talk in terms of a specific graduation date and would never, ever try to even insinuate there's an advanced course. If their course is that good, if they're that good, why would you need a next step? That's, again, feel free to go back to your counselor, your therapist, your coach, whoever you're working with, and ask them, can you fix this? Yes or no? What is the time frame? If they don't give you anything rock solid and don't assure you there's not a next step, you're working with the wrong person. Does that make sense? So this is for anyone who understands, contrary to popular belief, some of the best things in life are not free. Again, happy to have a conversation with anyone as long as you're at least open to next step. And from there, you go to refocusonhappiness.com/now, REFOCUSON happiness.com/now. Hope you guys enjoyed today's call. You got a much better way. Truth is this: if you keep doing your YouTubing your way to the winner's circle after watching this webinar, knowing what you know now, you're just going to make your life a lot harder than it has to be. So highly encourage you to go to this link here, book a call with me. I'll rock your world. I'll be the top 3 best friends you never knew you had. Look forward to speaking to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.